court system. We're not going to do that. That's where sheriffs are your last line of defense. They step out there and they take on those issues. Police chiefs can't do that. They get told what to do by city managers. Now, unfortunately, in this particular case, the Supreme Court in Thurston County and Snohomish County both said, yes, you intentionally defied the governor's order, and this was on the COVID stuff. So they pushed the recalls forward. But in one particular case, I think the people raised $50,000 to cover his legal fees, and they're going to fight back against the governor, and say we're going to keep our sheriff in power, and we want him to stand up for things that he doesn't feel are constitutional and stuff. So that's what Mr. Matthews talked about up front, is there's an opportunity for the public to still carry their wishes to make sure that we can stand up to governors that overstep and overreach. And we hope that we don't have to do that. We hope that they make the right choices, and we hope that the courts do that. But I'm going through the recall process now. It's very simplistic. I was devastated to sit in a courtroom for the first time in my life. First of all, it's kind of weird for me to be at that table on that side, and stuff. And so I was watching this judge, and when he looked down at me, he said something that I thought was very powerful. He said, I don't determine whether what they say is factual or not. And I said, there's no burden of proof, then why are we here? He has to assume by the court rules that everything they say is truthful. That's very alarming to me, because it means that you can say almost anything, and it gets pushed through. And if so, does that meet the threshold of malfeasance, misfeasance, or oath of office violation? Well, a carefully crafted allegation could get you there pretty quick and stuff. So it's a little scary and daunting process, and realizing the financial end of it, how much it can cost to go through these type of processes. But I still think at the end of the day, it comes back to the voters. And that's where you voters just got to realize the power that you carry out there, that you can make things happen or not make things happen, depending on what you feel is right and what's not right. So, leave it at that.
Can I answer that lady's question, what you guys can do to help?
Yeah, right after me.
Okay.
First of all, I can't say it enough. We have a gentleman here that's running for commissioner. We need new leadership in our commissioner levels that would change this county and go back to what it's supposed to be. The old county commissioners, if you watch it, I used to laugh because they used to fight like cats and dogs, and it was in the paper all the time. But you know what? They were good. Those guys, when I called them on the phone, they would go A to Z. They would sit there for 6 hours if it took them to understand the issue. And I can't tell you how much I appreciated that, because they were well-informed voters. These guys, it's an election year, so they're coming to work for the first time in their lives, and stuff. Everybody, we all laugh, but I tell you, go to the Justice Center and talk to any employee. Those guys don't come to work, and it's almost criminal and stuff to watch what goes on down there and stuff. I'm glad they're engaged this year, but because they're worried, they're both worried. I mean, this guy beat a long-time incumbent person and stuff. We need to stand behind him and push him to the front of the line, because Mr. Beaver has been retired for years. He thinks it's just a joke, and it's not a joke. He represents you, and he should act like it. So that's my piece. So yes, you can say your piece now.
All right.